Welcome back everyone. A quick video today. I've got a Specialized bike in with a fault on the front derailleur. The shifter's not actually shifting, so I thought it might make a quick interesting video. And this time I've actually turned my new microphone on, so you might be able to hear me a little bit better. Sorry about that for the last video. Anyway, let's see what we've got. So on this Specialized 105 front derailleur, customer says it's not working, and rightly enough, it's not doing anything at all. Not even trying. So let's have a look what's going on there. So it could be a number of issues really. Firstly, it could be obviously a derailleur issue, could be a shifter issue. More likely it's going to be an issue with the cable in between the two. It is a fairly new bike. Obviously you can see it's in pretty good condition. So I'm not expecting to find something like a seized derailleur or potentially even a seized lever. So we'll dig a bit deeper and find out what is actually going on with this. So a very common issue with these Shimano shifters is a cable fraying inside the shifter and locking it up basically. So first thing you need to do, peel back the hood and see if you can see any obvious signs of that. So you can see the cable end in here. Well, you can't, but I can. It looks okay. So we need to just whip it around to the other side and see what we can see. So background here, you just use a torch. This little plastic cover, if you can see, just pops back out and reveals most of the cable there. So I don't see anything frayed. What I do see is these are Shimano coated cables. This PTFE coating that they put on, it wears off over time and ends up with just shards of plastic in there basically. I mean, normally you'll get away with it, but at some point it will sort of clog up the system and cause further issues. So generally speaking, they work pretty good when they're new. But they work a lot better with a high quality stainless steel die drawn cable. But like I say, I don't see any damage to that cable. It's normally the right hand shifter that goes, because obviously that gets a lot more use than the left hand shifter. So it doesn't look like a cable issue. So looking at the front derailleur itself, we can see there's no way this is seized. It moves very, very easily. So potentially on an older bike, the actual pivots would corrode and cause this issue, but that's moving lovely. So what we'll do, or what we normally would want to do, is put it into the larger ring and set the tension on this screw here to get basically two lines here that need to line up, this one here and this one. Hard to see, show you. So there's a line here and another line here. So on the top ring, put it onto the top ring, then you go back one notch to the trim, and they should basically line up like this, and that says the cable tension is correct. But as we can't get it into the top ring, that's going to be a bit more challenging. It doesn't feel particularly loose there, it feels good. Let me just see if we can persuade it to shift on the lever. So what I've done there basically is pull that and press the lever in at the same time to replicate what it should actually be doing. So that's in its top position there. And knock it down one trim position, and that should move back probably 0.5 millimeter or so. I mean, the lines there, I don't know if you can see them or not. It's very difficult to see on here, but they're not a million miles off. They're not far enough out to stop this system working the way it is, and they are. You can see them there and there. Like I say, they're a tiny bit out, but it should still be shifting as it is, just with a little bit of rub. So it does kind of work. And then it shifts back down to there. So now it's shifting back up on its own. Oops. So basically what that's telling me now, as I know this bike hasn't been used for 4 or 5 months, is that the issue actually is just a lack of lubrication in the lever itself. Because I was able to manually override it basically by pulling the derailleur and pushing the lever at the same time, we'll overcome that little bit of stiction in the shifter and basically prove the point that that's all that's wrong with it. So it's shifting quite nicely now without even lubricating it. A little bit on the stiff side, but it is going up and down. So let's just get some lube inside the shifter. So I'll just show you on this spare old integral lever that I've got. This is a right hand shifter, but the principle is going to be exactly the same. All we're basically doing is trying to get some lubrication onto this area. There is normally a plastic cover that goes over here, but you can get this nozzle underneath there easily. and it just needs a good soaking basically. This is what we're using here is finish line 2-in-1, so it's basically a degreaser and a lubricant in one. Really good for this sort of thing, to be fair. And like I say, we're just getting some in there. Flood it through really on the bike. It doesn't matter if it starts pouring out the bottom. And then that's what we're looking for, obviously. Again, this is right hand shifter, but the principle is exactly the same. So we'll just lubricate the lever on the bike now. So in the stand now, it's again shifting up lovely now. And back down. So like I say, to set the tension on these, you put it into the bigger ring, knock it back the first trim, which is just a little one, and then you can check these two lines. Let me see if I can get you a bit closer. So now you can see, it doesn't look but in this camera angle, but they are actually lined up pretty much perfectly in a straight line. If they're not, the screw here basically adjusts that in or out. This is max in now, so if we did need more adjustment, we need to back that out, undo the cable clamp bolt under here, pull the cable through a little bit, clamp it back up, and then use this. Alternatively, there is on this bike, there's a adjuster on the front derailleur cable from the handlebar, which does basically exactly the same job as this. So normally with a combination of using this one and the one on the handlebar, you can get this set up properly, but that's looking sweet now. So yeah, pretty straightforward fix on that one. That's pretty much exactly what I expected it to be fair. I did know that the bike hadn't been used for a couple of months, and over the winter in the UK, it is quite cold and damp, obviously, so a little bit of corrosion can set in. It is 105 components, so they are a little bit more prone to corrosion than likes of Ultegra or Dura-Ace. But it's nice, easy fix. Keep on top of the lubrication. Obviously, I've lubricated the right-hand shifter as well while it's here to help prevent that going forwards. So yeah, the job done. Nice and easy one. See you again soon.